A Brazilian dietitian's understanding of constipation was completely altered by a novel discovery. She observed patients battling the same issue for years. They would arrive at her clinic complaining of bloated tummies that persisted despite their best efforts. Like most others, she initially assumed that a swollen tummy was the result of eating too much. Correct. False. She found something far more unsettling. Food wasn't the cause of that bloated tummy. It wasn't even fat. Sitting in their stomachs was something far worse. Imagine this. Your intestines are coiled up inside your body for roughly 25 feet. The majority of people's living rooms are shorter than that. Imagine now that the entire area becomes filled with hardened feces that has been there for weeks or perhaps months. This was not your typical case of constipation. It was similar to having concrete lodged in your plumbing system. The frightening thing comes next. The majority of people were unaware that they were experiencing this. The dietitian began to listen more intently to what her patients were actually saying. They would remark things like, "Something's just stuck in there," or, "I feel heavy inside." They weren't discussing feeling full after eating. They were speaking of something far more profound, something that was resistant to common stomach cures. She began to realize that what looked like a simple weight problem was actually a waste problem. The human intestine, when it's working properly, moves food through your system in about 24 to 48 hours. But when things go wrong, that waste just sits there. And sits there. And sits there. Think about what happens to food when it sits out too long. It gets hard. It starts to smell. It becomes toxic. Now imagine that happening inside your body, day after day. That's exactly what was going on with these patients. The longer waste stays in your intestine, the more water gets sucked out of it. It becomes like clay. Then, eventually, like cement. At some point, it gets so hard and stuck that your body simply can't push it out anymore, no matter how hard it tries. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your intestine doesn't just give up. It keeps trying to work around this blockage. So what does it do? It expands. It stretches. It swells to make room for all this trapped material that just won't move. That's when the nutritionist had her breakthrough moment. The bloated stomachs she was seeing weren't from overeating. They were from this internal traffic jam that had been building up for who knows how long. And there was something else she noticed. These patients weren't just physically uncomfortable. They were miserable, cranky all the time. They had low energy and bad moods that seemed to come from nowhere. This makes perfect sense when you understand how your gut talks to your brain. Scientists call it the gut-brain connection. It's like a telephone line between your stomach and your head. When your gut is in trouble, it sends distress signals straight to your brain. So these people weren't just dealing with physical discomfort. Their entire mood and energy levels were being dragged down by what was literally rotting inside their intestines. The nutritionist realized she needed a completely different approach. Regular laxatives weren't working because they were trying to push concrete through a pipe. But you can't force hard, stuck material to move. You have to soften it first, break it down, and make it slippery enough to pass through. That's when she started experimenting with a combination that would attack this problem from multiple angles at once. She needed something to break down the hardened material. Something to add moisture. Something to make everything slippery. And something to wake up the intestine's natural pushing motion that had gone dormant. She discovered the ideal mixture, 5 basic substances that function as a specialized intestinal cleaning crew, after months of experimentation with her patients. She started with papaya. Papayas aren't just any fruit, though. Papain, which is essentially nature's meat tenderizer, is present in it. You know how some people tenderize meat by adding pineapple to it. Papaya functions similarly, albeit with greater potency. This enzyme begins to break down the protein structures holding everything together as soon as it comes into contact with the hardened feces in your colon. Imagine it as removing the glue that has all of that old stuff adhered to your intestinal walls. But papaya does more than just break things down. It's loaded with 2 different types of fiber. The first type absorbs water and swells up, creating a soft gel-like mass. The second type adds bulk and stimulates your intestine to start moving again. Papaya also contains natural fruit sugars that act like magnets for water. They pull moisture into your intestine, which helps soften everything up and makes it easier for waste to slide through. The second ingredient she chose was dried plums. Most people know that prunes help with constipation, but they don't understand why. It's not just the fiber. Prunes contain special compounds that actually wake up your intestine's sleeping muscles. Your intestine is supposed to squeeze and relax in waves, pushing waste along like a conveyor belt. But when you've been constipated for a long time, these muscles get lazy. They forget how to work properly. The compounds in prunes remind them what they're supposed to be doing. The timing here is crucial. When you take this mixture at night, the prunes start working while you're sleeping. Your body isn't distracted by daily activities, so your intestine can focus all its energy on getting back to normal. The third ingredient was coconut milk. This might sound strange, but coconut milk contains special fats that your body can use immediately. They don't need to be broken down like other fats. They go straight to work lubricating your intestinal walls. Think of it like putting oil in a squeaky door hinge. These fats make everything inside your intestine slippery so the waste can slide through instead of getting stuck. Plus, coconut milk naturally contains magnesium, which helps your intestinal muscles contract properly. The fourth ingredient is oats, but not just any oats. Oats contain a special type of fiber called beta-glucan. When this fiber gets wet, it turns into a thick, slippery gel. This gel does two important things. First, it binds together all the loose pieces of waste, organizing them into a solid mass that your intestine can actually grab onto and push out. Second, it creates a slippery coating that helps everything slide through more easily. The nutritionist noticed that patients who had oats in their evening routine got much more consistent results. The slow-release nature of oat fiber meant it kept working all night long, providing steady support while they slept. The final ingredient was extra virgin olive oil. Just a small amount, but it makes a huge difference. This oil does three things. It lubricates everything, making the passage smoother. It reduces inflammation in irritated intestinal tissues. And it triggers the release of hormones that stimulate healthy intestinal contractions. This is the point at which the nutritionist's protocol becomes extremely detailed. It's more than just what you combine. It depends on when and how you take it. Every evening, the mixture must be made from scratch. 1 cup of pure water is your starting point. Half a cup of freshly chopped papaya should be added. 3 dried plums followed. Soak them for an hour first if they're extremely hard. Canned ones also function well. 1 teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of oats, and 1 tablespoon of coconut milk are added next. Mix everything until it's smooth. Avoid straining it. The fiber in such tiny pieces is just what you need. The timing is absolutely critical. You take this mixture about 1 hour before bed, after eating a light dinner at least 2 hours earlier. This timing lets the ingredients start working during your body's natural rest period, when your digestive system can focus without interference. But here's the part that most people get wrong. You must drink plenty of water after taking this mixture. This isn't optional. Fiber needs water to work properly. Without enough water, fiber can actually make constipation worse by absorbing what little moisture is left in your intestine. The nutritionist tells her patients to start drinking water about 30 minutes after taking the mixture and to keep drinking throughout the next day. This ensures that all that fiber stays soft and slippery instead of turning into cement. Most people see results within 24 hours of their first dose. And when it happens, it's not the cramping, urgent feeling you get from harsh laxatives. It's comfortable and natural. People describe feeling cleaned out and lighter, like a weight has been lifted from inside their body. For people with really severe constipation, it might take 2 or 3 nights in a row. But the nutritionist warns against using this mixture for more than 3 consecutive days. This is an intervention to clear out accumulated waste, not a daily routine. Your intestine needs time to remember how to work on its own again. The safety record has been remarkable. Because these are all natural foods, most people tolerate this combination very well. However, pregnant women should avoid it, since the powerful cleansing action might affect nutrient absorption. People with diagnosed intestinal diseases should check with their doctor first. What really surprised the nutritionist was how much this simple intervention affected her patients' overall health. Once their intestines were cleaned out, people reported better sleep, more energy, and improved moods. Some said they felt like themselves again, for the first time in years. This makes sense when you consider that your intestine is responsible for absorbing nutrients from food. When it's clogged with old waste, it can't do its job properly. You might be eating healthy foods, but your body isn't getting the full benefit because your absorption system is compromised. There's also the toxic load to consider. Old, rotting waste releases harmful compounds that get absorbed back into your bloodstream. Your liver has to work overtime to filter out these toxins, which affects your energy and overall well-being. When you clear out this accumulated waste, you're not just solving a constipation problem. You're giving your entire system a fresh start. Your intestine can absorb nutrients properly again. Your liver doesn't have to work as hard. Your energy improves. Your mood stabilizes. The nutritionist has now used this protocol with hundreds of patients over several years. What started as a solution for stubborn constipation has become her go-to recommendation for anyone dealing with digestive issues, low energy, or unexplained mood problems. What makes this approach so effective is that it works with your body's natural processes instead of forcing artificial responses. Each ingredient has a specific job to do, and together they create a comprehensive solution that addresses every aspect of the problem. The papaya breaks down hardened material. The prunes wake up sleeping muscles. The coconut milk provides lubrication and magnesium. The oats create gel formation and organization. The olive oil adds final lubrication and anti-inflammatory support. It's like having a specialized cleaning crew, where each member has specific expertise, working together to solve a complex problem that no single approach could handle alone. This discovery from Brazil gives promise for a real remedy for anyone who has been dealing with persistent constipation, bloating, or the sense of being backed up. The secret is to adhere to the protocol precisely as it was created, realizing that every element has a distinct function within the larger plan. The outcomes are self-evident. Within days, people who had given up on ever feeling normal again get relief. The bloating disappears. The pain goes away. Energy comes back. Additionally, many feel completely cleansed from the inside out for the first time in months or even years. For more evidence-based health discoveries from around the globe, please think about subscribing to our channel if this material has struck a chord with you. Anyone you know who might benefit from natural methods for maintaining digestive health should watch this video. Maintain your health and keep in mind that often the simplest treatments are the most effective.